Hey everyone, happy Sunday. I hope wherever you are and whatever you're doing in the world, you are having a really good day. This episode is pre-recorded because I'm currently at a convention in Pittsburgh, and that's kind of what I want to talk to you about today. No, not the fact that I'm at Anthrocon, one of the world's largest furry conventions. That's something different. I want to talk to you about how I got there and how I've been feeling about carbon offsetting and reducing my personal carbon footprint, as well as reducing Transport Evolved's carbon footprint. Now, obviously, at the moment when I fly personally, I do try and offset my pollution from flying, and I do try not to fly wherever possible. And this year, unfortunately, I have flown quite a bit for work. This will be my first flight for personal reasons, and I'm trying to restrict my flights to one a year for personal stuff. And I do carbon offset it, and there's various different sites you can go to and offset for your carbon. But carbon offsetting doesn't really solve the problem, and lately it's kind of got me wondering how I should be leading by example and how I should be maybe working as hard as I possibly can to make sure that I don't have to fly across the country. Now, America is really big, and in terms of the efficiencies of travel, for a large part of the US, especially if I'm heading east, flying is certainly from a time point of view the easiest thing to do. And in terms of carbon offsetting, it's cheaper for me to fly, offset the carbon of my flight, and then, do work than it is for me to, say, drive my electric car halfway across the country or all the way across the country, or get a train. Trains in the United States are pretty terrible. I understand in other parts of the world there are other solutions. I mean, when I was in the UK, I took the train or I drove an electric car that was charged with renewable electricity. And yes, I'm at a convention this weekend, and it's a personal trip, and I made a decision to have gone. And there are other conventions nearby that maybe I could go to in the future and sort of say, okay, this is the last time I'm going to travel to Pittsburgh for fun. Maybe I'll go to a convention that's local, and there are some ones that are nearer to me, and maybe that will help reduce my carbon footprint. But coming back to Transport Evolved and how Transport Evolved travels to places to cover things, I want to know how you would like us to proceed in the future. We get criticised every time we fly somewhere to cover something, and I think that that's fair enough. We had a lot of people criticise us for flying to the UK for Fully Charged Live, and people were saying, well, you shouldn't have gone. You should just stay where you are and try and travel as short a distance as you possibly can, use renewable transportation wherever possible, and, you're a bad person for flying. We do carbon offset, but that doesn't solve the problem. And I'm interested in ways that we can carbon offset without going through a third-party carbon offset company. And I want to know if you guys do anything like investing in renewable energy community products and projects. Maybe that's the way to offset carbon, rather than going through this third-party carbon offset company, which has all of the flashy and give you a certificate, which you really don't need. You just want to make sure that you have offset your carbon emissions and invested in renewable energy generation products that help shift us away from fossil fuels. And I'm also aware that, carbon footprints are not necessarily something that it's just a problem for me. Elon Musk travels around the world on a private jet. And, last year there was a lot of uproar about the number of miles he personally flew. And of course, there's a lot of criticism there. And some people target Elon Musk because of SpaceX and the pollution associated with that, with launching rockets. And I think kind of that all misses the point. We all need to be working towards offsetting our own personal carbon. And as a business owner, I need to be working to offset the carbon of our business. So is carbon offsetting the way that you would like us to proceed in the future? Is how we've done things so far? Or would you like us to not travel to events? Would you prefer it if we made more studio-based videos? That means that we don't get to go and drive as many vehicles, we don't get to cover as many live events, but ethically we're in a better position because we haven't flown a long way. Or do you want us to drive cross country? I mean, when we go to CES, we drive because we've got a lot of stuff and we can get there in an electric car. And this year we're going to put a trailer on the back. So that's all going to be really easy for us to do. But what about things like Fully Charged North America, which we've said we're going to? Do we fly there? Do we drive there? How do we get there? How do we offset our carbon footprint? I want to get the discussion going in the comments below. Please keep it civil. No more than that. Please keep it civil. And I hope to be back later today, or actually I'm flying in tomorrow, and I'll be back in the studio on Tuesday. Thanks for watching. As always, keep evolving.